Yup.
It's Tuesday. Y'all know what day it
It's
is.
yeah. It's Tuesday, and Tuesday is Tuesday, and because Tuesday been like a Monday for me. I'm like, man, I ain't had a busy Tuesday like this in a minute.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, we was discussing. It's been busy. Like I ain't
Yeah,
been running
yeah.
around everywhere, but like just mentally and handling things on the phone and conversations and business. Like it's been a very full day for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But you know what? That's the life of parents. You know what I'm saying? And when you become a parent, like you have things that you're responsible for. Not only just your kids, but at the time you become a parent, like you do have your parents still around if you're blessed to have them, and you're gonna be responsible for them a little bit too.
Yeah,
So the parenting deal is a little odd space when you're young, but as you get older, you get better at parenting, you should, but it does not get easier. But we're gonna talk about all that. We're gonna definitely
yeah,
talk about all that.
oh for sure.
Yeah. So before we get started, we gotta check on Trisha Michelle. Trisha Michelle, how are you doing today mentally, emotionally, physically? Like what's the verdict? What's the verdict?
I mean, Mother's Day weekend had just passed, so I drove out to Vegas. I surprised the family with my mom. I took her for a day from rehab home and barbecued and had a whole little nice little weekend. So it was great. Then I came back home and was shower my love here from home. And then Monday was actually a decent day. And then today just a little mentally draining, but it's not too bad. I'm still blessed and thankful, still living off the weekend high. And hopefully the week will fly by because I'm already ready for the weekend. I ain't gonna lie. I'm over it.
Yeah, well, that's dope. Well deserved. Happy belated Mother's Day to you, and well, we wish you happy Mother's Day. But we'll say it on the air. Happy Mother's Day
Yeah,
to
y'all
you,
told
Trisha
me in
Michelle.
real time. Yeah, y'all did. Y'all did.
Yeah, and your mom. But I got a question though. You say it's somebody barbecue. Who barbecued?
Oh, I'm the barbecuer.
You
Passed down from my
barbecue?
daddy. I'm my daddy's son. I
What?
told you.
What?
I am my daddy's
Okay.
son. I'm talking about I'm out there grilling. We'll smoke it with whatever it be. We'll get it done. So I am the person that goes on the grill. He used to do
Okay.
it. Now he's pushing 80 and he'll come sit with me and chill with me and listen to his music. I play his little oldies with me and
Yeah.
we'll vibe out. But I'm the barbecuer now. I'm the
Okay. That's
barbecue
what's up.
king.
That's what's up. Hey, you learning from the OG, so you learning it the right way. So that's what's
Oh
up.
yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah, like I said, I had a good weekend. I went to go see my mom's, of course. It's always
Yeah.
good times when I'm at when I'm home. I say home because that's where my parents live. But people are like, "You live in Waco, Texas?" Nah, I ain't never lived in Waco, Texas. My parents do, but
Yeah. Almost where the
I
parents are.
yeah. So I went to go visit them and had a good time. My mom is such a sweet, gentle spirit. She doesn't ask for much, but at the same time, she's a little spoiled. Shout out to mom. But I love it, and she's been a great mom to me. My dad's been great, and we're talking about parenting today. Parents like
Yeah.
us, but before us, we had parents, what I'm saying, raising us and teaching us the way. So, we'll talk about that as well because I posted on my Facebook today and was asking people different questions about parenting. And a lot of people seem to have, confused their style of parenting and the way they were raised. So the parenting that they were raised with, plus their spin on it. So that's gonna be interesting to talk about because I mean I
Yeah.
think that's what I did too, right?
I agree. I think so.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I said I agree. I think we took what we liked, subtracted what we didn't like, learned new things along the way, merged it all together and made it our own version. So I think I did the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, I often talk to my dad, and my dad's 70 plus, so he is set in his ways, and he has, this idea of how you should raise kids. And we had a conversation because I told him, "Look, Dad, the way you raised us and the way you were raised, you can't do that anymore. You can't, you can't
Yeah,
raise these kids the same way. Like that is so, the world is so different, right?"
it is.
And I understand at its core, it's not like things are kind of still the same for the most part, but there are new things available to these kids and new things that the kids have to deal with that we didn't have to deal with. So you have to parent just a little bit differently, right? And I guess we'll start with this, Trish Michelle. When did you become a parent? Let's talk about that because I know
Ah,
we both have similar, similar backgrounds in coming becoming a parent. So, what's your
uh,
parenting beginning?
I became a parent actually my senior year,
Okay,
um, 17, high school. I had my son and graduated 2 months later. So yeah,
wow.
hmm
So
became
you
home.
waddled across the stage.
No, no, I had him first. So
Oh, my
actually, he
bad,
was
my
at
bad.
my
You say
graduate.
you have.
He was at my graduation.
That's even more interesting. The fact that your son was at your graduation. Okay.
Yeah, he's in my graduation photo.
That's dope. But that's a dope story to be able to show that later on. So yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, so started young, but I like it now. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't start in high school, started shortly after that. I think
Mm,
I had just turned 20 when I had my first son. And yeah, I mean, now when I look back at it in retrospect to be, in my 40s and have, grown kids, it's kind of cool, right?
yeah,
Because I have classmates and friends that are just now starting to have kids.
I'm
And I'm
telling you.
like, woo.
Whew.
Like, yeah, I just see here's the crazy thing. When you're young and you're a parent, you have the energy, but you don't have the resources, right?
Yeah,
Generally. So, but when you get to, 40 plus, 35, 40 plus, you have the resources, but your energy is kind of it's starting to go
mhm.
down a little bit. So to be chasing kids at 40, 50 years old,
That's what
I
happened to
don't know
my
about that.
parents. See, they had my little sister. Yeah, when they got up there, and that little heifer, I love her to death. But ooh, she got away with everything. We had chores. We had to clean all the time. She'd be chilling, playing with her little toys because she the baby. Like they just gave. They could have chased her around. She didn't get no whooping, like nothing. I was like, what parenting is this? Because she not getting the same parenting. She got a whole different version. Whole
Yeah.
different version
Well,
because
yeah,
they was older.
yeah, definitely. It's a lot of stuff that I guess like my sister is 9 years older than me. So she
Hmm.
always talks to my parents about, the fact that we're parented differently. But I'm like, man, it's almost a decade difference, right? So
Hmm.
of
Let's see.
course,
What is my sister? Who knows? Actually, I don't know how old she is.
yeah, see, of course, but like when my sister, like that's almost a decade. So you're talking about
Yeah,
my parents being, 19, 20 when they had her to now when they have me, they're almost 30. They're working, they're well into their careers.
yeah,
They got more resources. So of course I'm gonna have more toys. I'm gonna have my own room because I'm the only boy. So it's a bunch of stuff that I had that
yeah,
my sisters weren't so happy about. But at the end of the day, our parents took great care of us. So we always had what we needed and a lot of what we wanted. So, but
hey, that because you was a boy is or are a boy, that's a real thing. Because my brother, it was coming to house before the street lights was on, but my brother was still outside. Oh, he's a
yeah,
boy.
yeah.
And I was like, what? Like that whole because it's a boy. Like that is really a thing with the parents. I'm like,
Not now though, not well,
no,
now
now
it,
no.
it, it is a little, but now you have to watch your boys as closely as you watch your young ladies too.
Yes.
Because I'm when I was younger, we used to see people at the store and on milk cartons come up missing, but it's
Yeah.
crazy the amount of missing people you see and amount of missing kids and young people. It's like, dang,
I
what
wonder
is
how
going
many like
on?
those that we seen back then were all part of like human trafficking, but we didn't really know too much about that until
Yeah.
like now, and now it's so much more apparent and just like in the forefront now that we know more about it. So now we just hear so much about it. So it just brought more caution to us as parents. Like you ain't getting on the side on the milk carton.
Yeah, you can't like we used to just be outside roaming, just doing whatever, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
riding bikes in the neighborhood, playing football, just out and about until like you said, the street light came on, then you had to come in the house or at least be on the front porch.
Mm-hmm.
But now you can't let your kids loose like that, man. And
No.
male or female, because
Yeah.
they'll come up missing. And I mean, like, you hate to say it, but the organ harvesting and all that stuff that we heard about, that stuff is real. Like people are actually doing that type of stuff. So you
Yeah.
have to be very
This ain't
careful.
this ain't the movies. This is really happening in real life. Like,
Yeah, yeah. So you have to be very careful. But I want to give some shouts out to some people in the comments. They showing love. We got Mike Lampkin. Shout out to Mike Lampkin, my guy.
shout
Corey
out. I think I've heard
Smallwood.
that name a few times in our videos. So
Yeah,
shout out.
yeah, Mike. Yeah, Mike is my guy, man. He's a great dude. He checks us out all the time. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Lethal but Legal. Shout out to Corey Smallwood. Corey Smallwood, my guy. He said his core values and morals will never change from when he was a kid. That's the foundation. But you're absolutely right with new methods of parenting. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
I
think that's the
agree.
gist for everybody, especially around our age. We're gonna use the stuff that we were taught as kids, most of us, but there's a spin that we gotta put on it, right?
Right.
And especially if you're a guy, because if you're a guy and shout out to Corey. Corey got all girls. So so it's a lot that what I'm saying you gotta look at this differently, that you got to approach it differently when you got girls versus you being raised and you're a boy. So I
Yeah.
bet you that's an interesting
Ooh,
dynamic. Shout out to Corey Smallwood though.
sending prayers.
Yeah, shout out to Telly. Telly, what's up, my guy? Mama, my mama's in the audience. Shout out
Hey,
to her.
mama. Happy
Yep,
Mother's
yep,
Day. Happy late Mother's Day.
yep. Shout out to y'all. Happy Mother's Day again. Timothy Beesner. If I'm mispronouncing it,
Forgive him.
my bad, my bad. Just want to give everybody a shout out, man, to make sure everybody knows that we appreciate y'all, man, tuning in, tapping in,
Taking the time out
because
of your day to listen to
yeah,
us.
yeah, because this is an interesting topic. And, I think that the more we talk about parenting, the more we learn about it and different aspects from different people.
For sure.
Because, of course, if you were brought up in a household and you think the way you were parented is, for most people, probably they think their parented, method was the best. The way they were
Mm,
brought up was the best. And then you start listening to other people and you're like,
yeah.
y'all did what? I don't
Yeah.
nah, my mom wasn't having that. But, when you have your own kids, you start looking at it differently because you're like, dang, maybe my mama and my daddy was wrong when they told me to do it this way, because this way kind of sucks as a from a parenting standpoint,
You have a
right?
different eye on it now. So you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what also? I ain't gonna lie. I had to go back to my parents and tell them my apologies, my bad, because parenting is hard.
"Mm,
Parenting is not easy, and
it
I
is
used to,
stressful
oh
at times,
man, you know,
mentally draining, demanding,
I I used
physically.
to I used to
Yeah.
be upset with them about things, little things sometimes, and it's like y'all just don't understand. Oh my god! Now when
Yeah.
you become a parent, you're like, mom, dad, I feel you, I
Because
feel you.
it changed from us just getting up, going to school, coming home, doing homework and a little chore and getting to kick it to get up, go to work, come home, figure out dinner, figure out the bills, figure out this, handle this kid, handle that kid, appointments, whatever else you got going on. Like it really doesn't stop until they lay their head on that pillow and then their mind ain't stopped because they thinking about everything else. Then they wake up and do it again. Like kids, we getting on them about this and that, not knowing like they was literally stretched thin, like very thin every day.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things, man. You just have to be thankful that our parents were able to instill certain things in us that stuck with us, and and we're able to kind of pivot a little bit, in our parents. And so, we talked about a little bit already when we became parents, and we both became parents very young. And so we had to learn on the fly.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot of, teaching from other people. It was kind of just like, things flying by, and you just happen to, first of all, my thing was to lean on how I was raised, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna take y'all through that journey as we talk, because I went from raising my children, especially my boys, how I was raised, to raising them slightly different as they
Hmm.
got older, because I realized that being so hard on them is okay, but you have to show them some love at some point. It can't
Hmm.
just be hard, hard, hard all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because your dad, like you still have to hug your boys. You still have to say I love you to your boys. You still have to do
Yeah.
these things that traditionally, like growing up, you saw like my dad do that to my sisters. But when it came to me, he was like, "Hey man, what's up?" You know what I'm saying? So it always felt different. But it's okay to
Hmm.
hug your boys. It's okay to show love to them, just like, I'm pretty sure with you, you have your son, and you're gonna do that regardless, because that's what a mother does. But I
Yeah.
think from a dad standpoint, like that's important to show your boys love, because at the end of the day, that's the type of love that they're gonna copy as they get older as well.
Well, I had to learn it honestly
Mm,
because my dad isn't so emotional and so just, open or like a, I love you or give me a hug. So I wasn't used to it, but I realized like I wasn't doing it. And so I start like, they want a hug, they want to come lean on my leg or something, or I'm like, come here, give me a hug, or I love you or whatever. Like I try to I had to learn to be mindful of it to do it because it wasn't a normal thing around me. But love was shown. That was how they did it. But I love you. I'm showing it to you versus like actually like that expression and that hug and that the verbal like usage of telling you I love you, like that wasn't something I was used to. So I did have to pick it up and use it as a parent.
yeah, see, I got a lot of the love from my mom, but like I said, my dad, he's military background, and my grandfather, same thing, military background. Just the way they were raised, they were just like, yeah, what's up, man? You good? Let's keep it moving, right? Like when they see you,
Right.
ain't no hug, it's handshakes. It was very formal
Yeah. My
for
daddy's school
a
of hard
dad, a
knocks, so
granddad, right? So but yeah, so I had to pivot from that and take things, and kind of turn them a little bit to show my boys a little bit more of a softer
yeah.
side, that saying that you can be a man, and you can show your sons love as well. So there's, you can do both. It ain't got to be one or the other.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but one thing that's interesting is P. Morton is in the comments, and they said my parents made it imperative that I knew I had to leave ASAP. It worked for me, but it won't work for everyone. And I want to address that for a second, right?
Yeah, because that's important,
Because
that last part. It won't work for everyone.
we always talk about, now I'm not sure if that's what they meant by this, but we always talk about, this thing in the black community, especially when you get 18, you got to go, you got to
Yeah.
leave,
It
you
is
got
a
to get
big
out,
thing.
right? And I absolutely hate that, because the simple fact of, not every child, most children, when they reach the age of 18, they are not prepared to go out in the world to fend for themselves. They just are
Mm,
not, right? So when you put them out there, you're setting them up for failure by pushing them
mm.
out the door too early. And like like Pete Morton said, like it worked for them, but there are so many other stories where it didn't work, and people are 36, 40, 50 years old, still struggling, never recovered from being put out the house when they were 18.
Yeah. I think that contributes to the trauma of, some of the parenting from our adults is the ones that might have said that you got to go when you hit 18, go goodbye, figure it out. But yeah, it might have worked for him or other cases, but I think more often than not, it doesn't work out. And they haven't established a career because they had to have this job that they needed to figure out how to pay for some bills so they can have food and eat to just live somewhere. So now they're still living this very struggled life in a economy that it costs too much to live in. So they're still struggling in their 30s.
Yeah. So people weren't responded. I was not prepared, but I was out there, and
And
that
see,
that's a lot of that's a lot of people. Thank God my parents didn't do me like that. My parents are still like, if you need to come home and you're 44, like you still welcome, like whenever
yeah,
you
my
want to come
parents
back.
say,
But I
mm-hmm,
left at 18 and I didn't want to go back.
right,
That was my choice, right? And I chose to get out there and ride the struggle bus for a little while and go to college and kind of fend for myself and find my own way. But it's not because they made me, it was because I felt like their parenting was too strict, too overbearing. I wanted to do things my own way, typical teenager or young
yeah,
adult. And I wanted to get out there, and I struggled a little bit because of my own choices, right? Not because they forced me out. So parents, the 18, you got to get out thing, like stop it with that. Figure
yeah,
out how to, put them in a space where they can be successful when they go out into the world, even if they don't go to college and even if they're working. Keep them at home, teach them how to cash their check, teach them financial literacy, as
yes,
Mike Lampkin said in the comments. That's a big thing too. Like kids go out in the world and they don't know how to fend for themselves by the
mm,
financial piece of it,
at all.
and they start out in debt, right? I
Yeah.
talk to my boys about that all the time. Like when you go to school for free on a scholarship, that is the biggest blessing because you graduate and you don't have debt,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
You get to go out and work, and you're starting from a level set versus starting below zero and trying to dig your way out as you work, and that's a setup for failure too.
Yeah, no, that's horrible. And then at the same time, they're not taught about credit. Then they go out there and they got these people, "Oh, apply for this credit card." So they do that. And then it's over after that. So stop sending these kids out here not knowing what anything is. And because they're just because you're 18 don't mean you're grown. Like, I'm sorry. Like in the world, 18 is grown, but you don't know nothing. You do not know anything at all about being an adult. So my son is still here, but he's very much doing things that he's supposed to be doing to prepare himself, because that's my rule here. You can be here, but if you're not doing things that you need to do to prepare yourself for this world, and I see you trying to get yourself prepared and doing those things, then that's when you gotta go. Because you're not just gonna sit here. Um, ain't nobody paying my way, so I ain't
Yeah.
paying your way. Like that's my rule.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's understandable. We all have sets of rules, just like our parents did. And it's
Hmm.
like if you don't want to abide by my rules, then hey, you have choices in this world that you can
Yep.
go out. I don't want you to leave
Yeah.
my overview of you. What I'm saying, because you're still learning. I want to keep helping you, but if you don't want me to help you, then fly birdie fly.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna be an enabler and have you be this 50-year-old person that doesn't do anything, ain't got no goals, and still working the same job that's getting you nowhere. I can't. Now that I can't do. You can't be living with mama at 50 and you didn't do nothing.
Yeah. Well,
Hey,
What's up
there
with
goes
it?
our long lost child.
Benji the
Hey
orphan.
man, you know what I'm saying?
Benji the orphan. Yeah,
Well, I ain't a sports orphan no more, man.
we
Yeah, yeah,
still.
that's
I
still
would
part
give.
of your persona.
It's a 3-year trial period. We're gonna see how long you ride out your so-called team you chose.
I mean, listen,
That's yeah, that's
I've been
interesting.
with
I
them
think
since.
that there should be like a we gotta revisit this in a couple years to see.
I mean,
Facts.
it's all right.
Facts.
I think all you're gonna do is come back and find the same results. You're gonna be like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
All
we'll
right.
see. Well,
So
welcome,
so
Benji.
yeah,
What's
so let's
happening, folks? Here, what's happening, big kid? We
what's
here.
up? So let's ask you this question. We talked about it, man. Tristan Michelle already talked about it a little bit.
Mhm.
So Benji, how old were you, or when did you become a parent? Like what age range were you where you became a parent?
Uh, my daughter's. I had 20. I had my daughter at 20. So that was like, oh shoot, I got a baby coming. So it was, yeah. So that's kind of was that space right there. It was a little weird. It was shocking, but I mean, hey.
Okay, around the same little. Kim was 20 years too, right?
Yeah, we was on the
Yeah.
same type of energy.
Yeah. The part was, it's like you gotta, in my space, it was funny. This is weird. And I often look back at it because I was in ministry heavy at that time. So I was going out with the lady, but I wasn't, really. And the preacher was like, yo, like, you gotta marry her. And I was like,
Oh
what?
wow.
So that's kind of the space I was put in as a young minister, because the scripture is better to marry than to burn. So that's the space I was in. And I've said this before, I shouldn't have been in a relationship at that time, because I was just coming out of all of that crazy stuff in Texas, and then
Yeah.
started to find my footing in ministry. So, but it's like, all right, I got a kid, so we're gonna take care of this young baby. And it was a girl too. So I was like, I got my wish to have a girl first, because everybody said the girl was the hardest. So
We're gonna start calling you Reverend Raw. That's your name, Reverend Raw.
Reverend
Yeah,
Wrong
say
is
he
Reverend
wild.
was
Raw.
he
Reverend
was
Raw.
Reverend Raw.
Reverend
Nah,
Raw.
but hey man, but having a kid at 20 is eye opening, so I can only
Facts.
imagine having a kid before then, because at 20, like I was deer in the headlights. Like I knew
Facts.
like how to hold a baby, how to change diapers and stuff like that, but I didn't really know the responsibility that was
Right.
about to come with
Yeah.
this child, right? To Because you hold a baby, you give them
Right.
back. You change the baby diaper, all these other kids, like you give them back. But
But
when
Right.
this
you
one
have
yours.
that baby and you go home for the first time and this baby is not leaving, you're
The
like,
baby's
oh,
still
Right.
there. You
It's
wake
still
up, the
there.
baby's still there.
Want
yeah.
me to tell you what my biggest struggle was, though?
Hmm.
Getting her hair done, doing it by myself. So
Oh,
that's
as
when,
she got older.
no, even because if I showed you pictures of my baby girl, she had a head full of hair from day one. Like, she didn't
Oh,
come
that,
out
that
like
was
patches
easy.
and bald. Like, she
That was
came
easy.
out with like a head full of hair. And as she got older, it was like, man, I gotta learn how to do hair. So I learned how to braid. You know what I'm saying? Or
Okay,
I
there you
had,
go.
you know what I'm saying? I had the honey dips do it back then. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
Nah,
Lord,
you
that
was
honey.
braiding. You was braiding. You
I'm
better be
telling you.
glad they ain't send you to jail. You would have been in there braiding Big Bubba.
Nah,
Ah,
nah, Bubba would have got these hands. You're gonna have to kill me.
He would
Bubba,
have got
Bubba
these
would have
hands on his
definitely
head.
he would have took your hands for sure.
Bubba, me and Bubba would have been going at it. They'd had to respect me like Martin Lawrence in the pen. But like at the Plymouth Rock, they land on us. Like, hold on.
All
But yeah,
right.
it was
So
a challenge, like to be a man and have a girl.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was like, oh shoot. I got what I wanted, as far as, girl, but man, you don't like a girl. And then I think that's when God breaks all of your manliness and kind of puts it in proper perspective, because now you got to actually be a little sensitive. So
Yeah,
yeah,
nah,
for
you
sure.
tripping, because I ain't never said I wanted no girl first.
yeah. I was
Because I had sisters, so I was
Mhm.
like, I really don't want no girls.
Right,
But
like,
see, for me, my girl came last, so I had two
right.
boys, and then my
yeah,
baby girl came last. So it's been fun, but it's also been, like you said, when you are a man and you have to raise a woman, raise a daughter,
Mhm.
it changes you. It
It
changes
does.
yeah,
you emotionally, right? Because you have to be soft. You have to
Right.
be able to love her a little bit differently. And we talk about that all the time. We talk about love language, and love
hmm,
language is important too in parenting.
Especially
yeah.
for
People,
especially for girls.
No, just in
well,
general.
Well, in
in
general,
general,
yes.
yeah, because
But
you have
typically
to
we would
know.
think the girls are a little bit more sensitive,
Well,
right?
I
As
I
babies
I
grow.
You can end up with a sensitive boy too, but it's really love language has nothing to do with being sensitive or not. It's just the way that they prefer to be loved and talked to and treated.
yeah,
Right, right.
So
yeah. So I
that's
think
on
that's
both sides.
big. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's big, and that's something that of course, our parents didn't know anything about that.
nothing about. No,
So that's the advantage we have in the age of technology, where we have this information that's being presented to us, and we can utilize it. You know what I'm saying, to become better parents. Because I
oh
know
yeah,
my baby girl, she is always huggy. She's always been like
Right.
that
yes,
since she was little. right? And that's before I found out like with love languages and
Love
all this
language,
stuff.
yes.
So I know when she doesn't have a good day, you know, I know when she comes in, she wants to hug on dad. She wants me to hug her. She wants to just lay her head on my shoulder. Like that's her time. That's what she
Right,
loves to do.
right.
Right. You can
Yeah.
buy her something. She gonna be cool with it. But if you give her a hug, she appreciates
It's
that
more
more than get
appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
right.
That's
The
my
reason
me
I
and your
said I
daughter
want
they sound similar in a lot of ways because she's definitely like that.
your
Yeah.
baby girl.
Oh yeah, she
Yeah.
will lay up under me. She will be part of my body if she could be. Like she just has to be touching me in some type of way, hug something. Oh, you didn't hug me enough. You didn't hug me all the way, and I was like, okay. So she gotta have all of it.
Right. Now, Ken, the reason I said I wanted a girl first is because everyone told me, the girl would be your hardest to raise, right? And I
Right.
found that to be actually not true. My daughter was the easiest to raise. My boys, on the other hand, my oldest son, man,
Okay, let me ask you
Why?
this though. Let me ask you this though. Your oldest son, you're shaking your head, but how reminiscent is he of you when you were that age?
very much so.
See, that's why it's
Because,
so
Oh well,
hard.
yeah.
right,
You know,
You're
you
raising
got
yourself,
respect. You raise
right.
yourself, yeah.
But the thing is, and I always ask myself, I'm like, was I like this? And
and the
of
answer is
course,
probably yes.
trying to find, the family to say, I was this way, I was that way. It was difficult because I wasn't around them anymore. So I would have to ask my brother. My brother, kind of barely met, my babies, right?
Yeah,
And so I have to kind of reflect and look back and be like, man, was I? And yeah, man, mischievous, into something, quick with, and it's like, gee, man, like, hold on, was I this way? And he was tough, like to raise because he was hard headed.
yeah. I
Just
mean, I think that's one of the
Mhm.
most difficult things when you have a child that's just like you. It's like,
Yeah.
dang, that will humble you. That will definitely humble you and change your your outlook because you're frustrated with some of the things that they do, but you're like, dang, I just do the same thing. So now I
right,
understand how my parents felt when I was wilding out like that.
right. That is
Right,
a fact. And see,
right.
my thing is I could remember, and I'm gonna tell on myself a little bit. When I was a little boy, hygiene wasn't uh my biggest thing as I got older. You get
Wait,
what I'm
what
saying?
that
Oh,
mean? Wait, what that mean? What
so you
that
was
mean?
stank on you?
Man, like I would listen, I was an outside kid until
You was
people
stank.
when I came out the shell, like I wanted to be outside until people kind of made me, like the hermit because they was just mean and obnoxious and rude.
Or
But I
because
would
you
be
came inside and
outside.
was stinking. Maybe you was stinking.
I was.
So that's why
That
they
man
didn't
smell
want to
like
be cool
he
with
smelled
you.
like outdoor when he was
They
indoor.
was like, ugh,
And
that boy stank.
it was a struggle. I would my mom used to my I remember this conversation. One of the very few conversations I remember with my mom is she used to tell me I used to go outside and play in my suit. Like I always would run outside. I would be
That's
outside
why you ain't
and
had no
she had to
friends.
coach me. She had to tell me, go in the house, take them shoes off. Cause back then, what I'm saying? We had our Sunday clothes and we had our what you call
Yeah,
clothes.
that's why you didn't have no friends. I'll tell you right now. Because I would have talked shit.
Say that little boy weird. He outside playing in a full suit.
Weird ass little boy.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I was dapper out there on the court, but I wasn't
You
smelling
was
too great.
dapper and smelling stank.
Stank. And that was because see when I
What's the what's the boy the little thing called peanuts that walk around with the stanky smell following them
oh
around?
yeah,
Pigpen.
Yeah,
Pigpen.
Pigpen. That was you, little funky self, with your suit on.
it facts. And I ain't gonna be nice because the running word used to always be that's Benji Stanky, and they would say like that
Oh
was my
man.
uncle's name. They would say that because that was me coming up. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
So
did I pray that your hygiene changed?
well, I can't even. I'm super self conscious. Trust me.
Uh-oh.
I don't even like my arms to smell. I throw shirts away. I do this, whatever. But
Well,
yeah,
throwing the shirt away doesn't stop the stanky person. So do you
hey
like?
man, you gotta get that sweat going. You know what I'm saying? And run and get that funk up off you. You know what I'm saying? Hit the
Okay.
sauna, sweat.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a struggle going up until I got to Lancaster, or whatever you want to call it, Ken. And yeah, brother had to change up because there was too many honeys over there.
Yeah, that's when. Hey, look, now having a boy.
Yes.
There's two things you can tell. You can tell when he doing it, and you can tell when he's interested in girls.
Yes.
Yes.
They used to always tell me he ain't gonna change until he meet him a young girl.
Yeah.
And that was very true. When I met my first girl that I dated that I liked, I did. I got the waves, the whole thing, everything.
Oh, you was up in that mirror extra long in the morning for school.
Motivated.
I used to walk around with the brush at school.
Oh, that's why your hairline. No, I'm just.
Hey, he was motivated. Young fella was motivated. You know what I'm saying?
It was like that, like first day of school type motivation. He had his outfit laid out.
Hey, I bet you the family was excited. I bet you the family was excited though, because he wasn't stinky no more. He wasn't stinky no more, man.
Milestone.
You know, Uncle Nim, Ken, you know Philip and Cecil, you know all of them. They was the trendsetters. So when I finally caught up, you get what I'm saying, and was, you know what I'm saying, oh, he got him a little girl now. Look at him. I was like, I wasn't doing what y'all was saying, but I was watching y'all change the sheets, keep your hair cut, keep your, you know what I'm saying. And so
let me get some of that Avon deodorant and Cool Water cologne. Let's get it popping.
Let me get some of that Aramis, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm saying, let's get it popping.
Get your own, man. I know you've been in my cologne, man. I ain't never. Look here, man. I got the little honey coming over. Put the silk sheets on the bed.
That was another thing. My son, oh, you know, Mom, can you give me some cologne? I was like,
yeah. Yeah.
Who you trying to smell good for?
He's stepping into the. She said he smelled good, so yeah.
My son, that's one thing raised by girls. My son, his bathroom routine is worse than all of ours.
Oh, mine is pretty bad now. I can't lie to you. I try to stay in the mirror, but hey,
we believe you.
I'm just saying.
I believe it.
All right, so check this out. This is the question that I put on Facebook today and got a lot of great responses. When you started, when you became a parent, did you adapt your parenting style straight from your parents, or you took it and you remixed it and added your own spin to it? So Trish Michelle, can you talk about that a little bit? Like your parenting style, like what did you keep from your parents and what did you change and what did you add?
The street lights got kept, that's for sure.
Y'all know the rules.
My dad was like a heavy discipliner, but I'm talking about pick your belt type discipline. And I would say with my son, I might have started a little bit, not with the pick your belt thing, but like you might get popped and stuff. But then I started to learn, like, as I would pay attention to, he would shut down versus like do what I want or whatever. I stopped. So with my daughter, she don't ever I don't even know. I can't even tell you if she ever had any whoopings and nothing like that. Like we change your parenting. So that's something like I talk to him. I try to get him I try to understand what's going on. You might get yelled at if it's warranted, but as far as like that, what he did, the heavy discipline physically, like isn't not on the abuse stuff. So hold on, because my dad is great. But I just don't do that here. It's more talking, more of an open, like communicating airway for the both of us or for all three of us. So I don't do that. I kept chores because my mom had like chores that we had to do. And I'm like my mom, as soon as I walk in the door, I'm like, it's like my eyes go do do do, and I'm like, what's going on in this house? Like, so chores, I kept that, yeah, for sure. That's really like, I don't know. We talk more though. Their feelings matter, what they need matter. what's going on in their lives matter. So that's something that I definitely implemented because I can't even remember really talking too much about what was going on in my life like that with my parents.
Right.
Yeah, I think for me, the main thing I tried to keep from my parents was because my dad military background is structure.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything had a place, everything has a time in which you're supposed to do stuff. Like to
Mm-hmm.
keep that structure, so we tried to keep that structure involved. But I ain't gonna lie to you, we was kids. You know what I'm saying? My parents would be like, "Why you telling our business?" Say, man, we used to get towed down. You know what I'm saying? If you did
Right.
something
Right.
like the belt was coming. My daddy called it Big Brown. It was coming,
Look,
and you already know how it was gonna go down. And yeah, you had to go like Eddie on Good Times. I had to go get the pillow
Mm-hmm.
afterward. You know what I'm saying?
Just to say
You,
that.
and you had to sit down, and you was a little worn out, a little worse for wear, but you learn, right? And we started out. Shout out to Corey Smallwood again. He said switches on my side, like switches. You know what I'm saying? Like old folks used to say, your
come get
grandmas and
the
your
switch
aunties
off
go
the
get
tree.
that switch off the tree. Like we had all that. So for me, of course, when my boys were little, we didn't do so much of that. But as they got older, they got spanking here and there. But again, like Trish Michelle said, you watch your kids' reactions to it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, with my boys, they wouldn't react to it like we did when we were kids. Like, okay, I'm gonna get right now that I got a spanking. It was more of a almost shut down,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So, and it was like, all right. So I ain't gonna lie to you. For me, like that tore me up as a parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I understand when my parents used to tell me that stupid stuff when we used to say, it's gonna hurt me more than it hurts you. I'm
But
like,
you,
man, it
Oh
can't
man,
hurt
that's a
you
true
more than it hurt
it
statement,
me.
is
man.
a true statement, though.
It
That's a
it
true statement.
is, right? Because after you spank them, it hurts. It's like, man, I wish I didn't have to do that to my child. But
Right.
as you get older, you become more creative, you start
Right.
Yeah.
thinking more. You're like, you know what? There are better ways and other options other than spanking my child or putting my hands on my child that
Mm-hmm.
I can
Yeah.
help them be more structured, be more disciplined. So for me, what I went with was push-ups, invisible chair, squats,
Mm-hmm. Right.
up downs. Like we
Oh yeah.
started doing those heavy. Like
Oh yeah. My
so
son went through some of those.
Ooh, the push-ups, books up against the
Had that
wall.
invisible chair and them hands
yeah.
out. No book. Look.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we went with that, and it worked. It worked out well. And I joke all the time, and I said it must have worked really well because both of my boys ended their high school time of with football as holding the I think the bench and the squat records at their schools.
Hmm.
So it,
It paid off.
See, it
it
paid off.
it paid off, right? It paid off, and it worked because they were good kids. They didn't have too many discipline issues, anything like that. But hey, I had to pivot because all that whooping and paddling and
Hmm.
pulling out belts, like I wasn't with that. That just
Right.
wasn't
Yeah.
me. That just wasn't
Yeah.
me. So, how about you,
Well,
Benji?
well,
Yeah.
mine, because again, I came from that because my folks, my mom was very militant, my aunt was very militant because they come from a granddaddy. He's military, so yeah, I adopted that. Then when I came out here to Cali, of course, my aunt is the same way. Like, make your bed, do this, do that, all that. So my kids got that from me. The militant, clean it this way, do it this way, spanks on the hand, spankings, the whole nine, everything, right? So mine got that. But I always was the talker. So I would explain to them what was going on. But as I've gotten older now and I have the two girls in my life, it's totally different. And
Yeah,
I had to remember this because sometimes I forget that now I'm also raising two girls, two girls as well, because it's like it's totally different. Them, it's more still militant, but it's more conversation than anything,
Yeah.
like Patricia said, because explaining to them a whole different set of rules, you get what I'm saying, is a little different. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Like, nah, like you gotta have this. You gotta have this grade. No, that's not acceptable. Nah, I ain't rolling with that. So there's a sense of combativeness there that you have to present, so that you know, as the parent, they don't become, you know, I guess the right word is lackadaisical in, you know, nothing being said to them, so to speak, because they're girls. How much are you going to say to, you know, two girls that barely know you? You know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
got to kind of make sure that you are in that space to where you can talk to them really nice. And so now they're like melt in your arm, and I always want to ask you questions, but I had to set that precedence from the beginning up front. Be a little militant, but then explain why you can't have your phone this week.
I think that's a great point though that you all are making again with the communication piece, and
Yeah.
it's different from our generation because our parents were the generation of, you know, just do what I told you to do, don't
Right,
worry about why
Mhm.
I'm telling you to do it.
right,
And I feel like, you know, now as a parent it's very important that you explain to them why you want this
hmm,
done a certain way,
right, right.
because now they understand that mom and daddy just ain't telling them some stuff just to do it.
Just to throw
This
Right.
is
it
the
out there, right,
purpose for why I'm telling you to do it this way, because if you don't do it this way, that whole shelf is going to fall. That's why I'm telling you to put the
right,
books
Right.
here, here, and here, instead of just saying put them books over there and then being
right,
mad when the bookshelf falls
right.
because I gave bad instructions. Right.
Right.
It's funny because I said this to my wife recently. I said, if we didn't believe our kids were going anywhere, then anything would be acceptable. The way you dress would be acceptable. The way you talk, the way you speak. I don't know if you're going to be at the table with Obama one day, but I'm preparing in my mind that you will be before great people. So this is how you eat when you're around, when you're at home, when you're here, when you're there, and you
Right.
set that expectation. And I think if you don't speak to a kid's future, they can kind of easily be, you know what, yeah, well, whatever, you know, it's all right. But when you believe that your kids are going somewhere and you want them to be successful, you're going to say those little things now, because they might not seem like they have a lot of meaning, but they do if you believe, again, that your kids are actually going somewhere in life. So,
Yeah, we call that just pouring into them, speaking life
right,
into them. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
right,
Doing those things. And again, you know, the communication piece is so key. And one other note I had here is this is, you know, what you're saying too is feeds to this is make sure your children feel heard.
right,
Make sure that,
Yeah.
you know, when you have these conversations with them, it's just not you telling them something.
mhm,
Allow it to be a dialogue. Every response from a child when when you say something to them is not talking back, people. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Like
right.
every time you said something back to your mom or dad, stop that back talk. But it's not. I'm not trying to
Man,
Not
like
talk
trying to
back.
have a
look,
conversation.
I'm
how I
trying to
just said
ask you
man
a
right
question.
now. How I just said man right now, my dad
It's
would
not
say I was
allowed.
being disrespectful. I would be like, what? Like literally everything was talking back, and I would be like, huh? Like I'm not even, and I would be like, no, 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 it ain't like. Well, then who you talking to? And I'd be like, okay, you know what?
I wonder where that
Yeah,
comes from, though,
I
because
don't know. It's got to be
I
their
was the
parents.
same way. I felt that. You get what I'm saying? So, but let me do this real quick. Shout out to the baby because she's getting an award on
Hey,
the 20th
see,
for her
parenting
schoolwork.
going right.
So we've been working on, you know, the school little thing. You know what I'm saying? Get your grades up. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. So pushing them to that space, and then seeing that she's getting an award for it is like, yo, like this is what we look for. This is what we want.
exactly.
And she's been putting in the work. So that's like super dope. But yeah, talking back, Jesus, them slaps in the mouth, man, were crucial. So
Look,
I just shut up.
that is what I grew up in. You talk out your mouth, and you're gonna get hit in your mouth.
Whew.
Well, I'm gonna share a story with you real quick. I hope my mom's still watching because I like telling the story in her presence. Right, I'm 17 years old, senior in high school.
Uh-huh.
He got clear
You
his
know,
throat. You hear him?
at 17 years old, senior in high school, very spoiled kid, had my own vehicle and everything since I was probably about 14, 15. Something I think we took the vehicle somewhere, somebody backed into it. So we had to take it to the shop, get it
Mhm.
fixed. So during the time it was in the shop, my mom was allowing me to drive her car. So I would have to take her to work and then drive to school. Well, one morning, yeah, well, one morning we're on the way, and she turns to me and says, "Oh, I forgot, I got a doctor's appointment today, so I'm gonna have to drop you off, and then I have to go to work, drive to work." And I had plans for the car. I had plans because I was gonna go somewhere.
What you got to do?
Hey, I
Pull
was,
up on a
I,
honey.
I was gonna leave at lunchtime, right? But
Pull up on the little honey. Pull up on the shouty.
so my response, without even thinking about it, was, now people who grew up in the 90s, this was big. We say this all the time. So my mom's driving. And anybody who knows my mom's got long arms, what I'm saying, and everything. So
You caught one of those.
She caught
say
you with one of those
I'm
backhand.
I'm in the passenger seat. I turned my head. I said, "You tripping?" And when she told me I couldn't drive the car that day, right? The cigar dropped me. I said, "You tripping?" And as soon as I
Oh,
said that, it was like slow motion. I turned and I just saw the backhand, and then my head
your head hit
hit
the
the
door.
window.
Hit the
My head
window.
hit the window. Boom,
No, do-
right. So then my first response is to look at the window because there's somebody in the car next to me. So I'm
Oh,
trying to make sure the dude didn't see me hit the window, get slapped. And he was laughing. So he saw the whole thing. So now I'm embarrassed, right? But those are the type of things that they used to happen to us when we were kids. And now,
yeah.
man, if you smack one of these kids or you hit these kids and
Man, I
somebody
fight a
sees you
kid.
hit a kid, if somebody sees you hit a kid, these folks will call the cops. And next thing you know,
I'm gonna hit them.
Listen. Listen. You can
I'm
catch these hands. I just want you
well,
to know.
I'm just saying.
We
I'm just
still
saying.
like my. It's funny because yeah, that is a thing nowadays, right? But it's funny because like I kind of do like Martin show with the little kids. Like I like like I'll fight a little kid. Like you're finna punk me, right? So it happens, you get what I'm saying? But in a joking manner, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I hope
right.
you never have to get to a space where you like put hands on a kid or something like that, right?
Yeah, you
But
can't be squaring up with the little kids,
I mean,
man. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying? You
they can catch
gotta.
these hands with them mouths they got. You know what I'm saying?
so this is why I can't be a teacher.
Facts.
I just know like that's not the career for me.
Right. Because I know you
Yeah,
be backhanding people.
Somebody's kids.
Yeah.
everybody ain't
Calling
built for
you.
that.
I'm not. I'm just not because you're not gonna talk to the way these kids. So at the same time where we can't put hands on nobody, the way these kids talk to these adults, I can't deal with. I can't do it.
Yeah. I can see you backhanding. I can see you backhanding somebody, Patricia. So,
Front
uh,
hand side. I'm not even. It's gonna be. It might be all the way close. I don't know.
Front, back, side to
I come
side.
from wig snatchers, so
Uppercut.
my aunt was wig snatcher, so yeah, well, yeah, so
Yeah. So yeah, but like I said, man, the physical things that we endured as kids, like you can't do that to these kids no more, man. Now I know some of y'all out there saying I do it, I
right,
do it, but listen, trust me, some of these kids ain't built like us where we were afraid. Like if we got a spanking and we had whips and stuff like that, like we ain't go to school trying to show that off or trying to
right,
show
right,
people.
right,
These kids will go to school and tell their teacher, look what my mama did to me. She
right.
got she got whips on my arm because she pulled out a switch. And these teachers will report you
Oh yeah.
and you
I
will have a
mean, they
CPS
will,
investigation.
and they will, and you know what's funny is because I had to deal with that when I had gotten full custody of my kids, and man, like they CPS is wild. Like it don't even have to be a true story. They just
But they have
report
to.
off of smoke.
They
Yep.
Like
have
if
to.
it right, they're mandated reporters. So even if it doesn't have to be a true story. It could be just
They
whatever.
don't.
Allegations.
That's because
They
they
pull up
just
on
don't know if it's true or not, and they can't just
Yeah.
say, "Well, this probably ain't true," so we're not going to check on this one. They have to take everything as facts for until they find
right,
out.
right,
Exactly.
and
They
that
have to
makes
do
it
an investigation.
difficult. Right, and that makes it difficult because if you're like in that space where I was trying to make sure I got full custody of my kids, like
Yeah.
they run you through these hoops, and I ain't gonna even lie to you. I told in the meeting, like, look, yo, like Y'all not gonna run my house. You make your decision right now because y'all not gonna run my house. Like I'm gonna run my house the way I run it. I'm gonna do my business. I'm gonna take care of my kids. That's the reason why I done went through all these hoops to make sure that they mine. And y'all make y'all decision, but you're not gonna run my house. And I was very, very, very firm in that because at the end of the day, like my kids, I'm responsible for everything that they do, say, and put out there. And if they end up in jail, here, there, anywhere, it's a smudge on my name. So I'm not, so it was tough being a single parent, being a single father in that space. But I hooked it up, I did it. And they still knuckleheads to this day, but they coming along. They coming along. My daughter's graduating, so nursing school. So that's
yeah.
Facts. That's dope. That is dope, man. Good job, Benji.
And, we're trying to put it together, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're trying to make them good citizens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you know what? At the end of the day, that's really all we want for our kids is to be productive citizens in this society, not out here doing stupid stuff, not out here going to jail, getting locked up, like you said, putting a smudge on your name, because whether you like it or not, if your kid's going to jail, your kid's in trouble, no matter what people know about them, it's going to be a knock on you and your parenting. Straight up. So,
and it's funny. It's funny because it's like, man, growing up, I didn't see the importance of that. Like that your grandma just want to be proud of her baby or her mom or whatever. Like, I'm sure what they came through and what they dealt with, seeing all kind of crazy stuff, to see their baby do something that made them proud. I didn't understand that growing up. Like we just thought running the streets, ripping and running was, the thing, right? But then for them to see you graduate, for them to see you do this, go to college, get that degree, go on to get that job or whatever, and get out the hood. Like that did, when I learned that was a game changer, that they just wanted to be proud of something instead of all the drama that they had saw. So
yeah, that's a fact. All right, so I want to mention this too. For those of you who are just tuning in, we're talking about parents. The title of the episode is "Parents Like Us." We just trying to delve through some conversations to try to expose a few things, about parenting, but also give you some tips and things like that. Because again, we have a lot of people who are parents of younger kids, and it's a lot of information that we didn't find out until later, or we had to, find out along the way. That is like, man, I wish somebody would have told me that. So we're here trying to tell you what we found out by our own experiences, so you don't have to go through the same things that we did to figure this stuff out, right? And one of the main things I always tell people, and this is big for me, is we talking about, we used to get whoopings, we used to get spankings, used to get punished, but you should punish your child or your children for disobedience, not for mistakes. Right.
Yeah.
If you've told them something and they deliberately, go the other direction or do something to directly defy you, that's disobedience, right?
Yeah.
They know, they understand, and they still did it. But if your child knocks a glass of milk off the table, that
they don't
doesn't
need to be
require
slapped
you.
in the mouth for that.
They don't need to be slapped and beat because they knocked over a glass of milk. Now,
man, I used to get beat up because I didn't like black eyed peas when I was a kid. So they would just sit on the plate.
No, but if I tell you, do not throw your plate away when you're done eating, make sure I see it before you go away, and you purposely
throw it away anyway.
Right. Then we have a problem.
See, I used to do that because, what back then is whatever was put on the plate you eat. And if I didn't like it, I would hide it. You know what I'm saying? Finagle. I wish I had a dog back then.
I was about to say, I don't think that worked too well for you either, did it? Because it don't
work.
No,
it didn't. Because eventually, man, I remember vividly one day, my mom made me sit at the table for hours. And I had to sit there and act like 1 p at a time, eating them. And I didn't like them, bro. Like they was disgusting. Now I love them. That's how weird. See how weird that is?
Look at that.
But man,
mine wasn't peas. My thing I wouldn't eat was chitlins, and She tried
Ooh,
to make me sit there and eat those chitlins, and to this day, my nose is sensitive. I
to
I
I
think
don't
it's
chitlins.
like
that's
I don't
fair.
I don't like I don't like bad smells and
Right.
chitlins. Y'all know chitlins smell like dookie,
Yeah.
so
I
I
don't think
wasn't
it's
trying
fair
to.
to do that for chitlins though.
That was
Chitlins.
abuse. Your
See,
boy was getting
that was
abused by
abuse.
chillin'.
I'm sorry, ma.
Well,
But see,
she learned.
chillins at one was a delicacy for Negroes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
she
understand,
learned
but
after the result of her trying to make me taste the chitlins, and then I actually did,
and you
and what
Earl,
transpired after that, Earl Texas all over the table. So
right?
after that, she learned, hey, he really
Let
doesn't
that
like
boy
these.
alone.
Yeah, leave him alone. So I had to
Trial and error,
prove
huh?
it. Yeah, trial and error. But you know what? Again, we talk about parenting, so that's the beauty of parenting. It's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of
Fact,
stuff you're
right?
trying, and it might work, it might not. And then if
Ain't
you
no
Well,
see that it
script for
works,
it.
then you're like, so yeah. So parents out
So
there,
so so you couldn't. Okay, let me ask you this though. Still don't like chillin'?
oh no, 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 no,
You
no,
like I
no,
ain't
no, 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 no,
I
no,
like them
no.
then. I like them now.
chitlins. You know what?
Yeah.
I mentioned this before, but fried chitlins is actually really
Oh,
good.
you know, you did say that.
Yuck.
I'm
I
trying
remember
to
you
tell
saying
you.
that,
Yuck.
but
Trying
I
to
don't know
tell you.
where they served that at.
Well, okay, so let me put, like growing up in Pleasant Grove, the
That sounds like
homie,
child abuse.
Well, it
the
was if
homie.
you forced them to eat it.
Ugh.
No. See the homie used to the Hispanic homie. His name was Casper. He used to live over there off of Nassau Circle, Ken, in Pleasant Grove. And we used to go to his house and we used to chill over there because he used to teach us boxing. So he used to be in his backyard learning boxing, doing like all the. And he would have this big old wok. He would fry them up, and I promise you, bro, it was fire.
Yeah.
I can't even lie to you. He would fry the chitlins up, and we would grub them. He would put them on a tortilla, and we would eat them. Like it was
On a
fire.
tortilla.
Yeah, I'm trying
So
to
y'all,
tell you, Patricia, get you some chitlins.
I'm,
I mean, don't get
I
no
mean, I'm
shame.
not. But if someone had them, like, I'm not gonna fry my chitlins because I like the regular way a little too much.
With a little
But,
hot sauce, a little.
mhm.
I knew you. See, yo, I knew you had some country in you.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I mean, I do.
I know.
Mm,
And
yeah.
but it's
I'll pass.
Hispanics, they eat the
Pass.
lingua, the birria, they eat the
Ooh, that's
cow
good.
tongue,
Mhm.
they eat all of that. So
I'm
it was
good.
fire
Good on
though.
that.
If you've never tried chitlin,
But
fried
is it like for
chitlin taco,
them when it's fried? Does it taste kind of like the?
remember the texture gets not so as chewy.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
So it's gonna get
It's like eating the
crunchy.
chicharrones.
That's what I was just about to say. The chicharrones.
Yes.
Is it like that? Okay.
Yes, it's like eating the chicharrones. Ken, do
I'm,
you don't like chicharrones?
I'm gonna need you to
Man,
stop calling it
I'm
chicharrones.
I'm not I'm not interested in a lot of that stuff.
Chicharrones.
Yeah,
Chicha.
nah.
No, I like food. So if it's good,
You gonna eat them.
I so squid, octopus, octopus.
Octopus is
Yeah.
good, yeah.
If you have, if it's good, I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, listen, there was a few things that I didn't like as a kid.
Look at his face.
And
Did you get
chitlins,
flashbacks, fam? Did you get flashbacks?
chitlins,
You can
chitlins,
smell it.
pig ears, hog maws, like any of that stuff.
Hog
I'm
maw and
not.
pig feet.
I'm
I'm
Hog
not.
not even
head
lie.
cheese.
I'm not doing that. I'm not
I've
hog
never
head cheese.
had
I'm
any of
not
that
doing
stuff
that.
though,
I'm not
but I
Hog
doing
don't
head
think I
anything.
cheese.
will.
Okay. My uncle used to send me down to Big Daddy's Ken down there on Bear Street, South Dallas. And they used to have the hog head cheese.
Yuck.
So my uncle
Mm.
it smells disgusting.
What's
I
a? Is
don't
it
Disgusting.
cheese? This is cheese.
I listen, all I know is it's got a lot of stuff in it.
What? Like
And
what?
he used to eat it. It would stank up the whole house.
Yes, it stinks.
Hog head cheese. And listen, I don't know, but he would smack it and eat it with some crackers. Man, you think he was the like a delicacy, but I guess our
It
folks
probably
didn't
was to
know it
him.
was.
That was his adult lunchable.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't eat anything that stinks. So tuna, like what do you call them? Sardines.
Oh
I used
yeah.
to eat those, but
Vienna sausages.
I used
Actually
to
kind
eat
of
feet
fire
too.
with some hot sauce. The sardines in the can.
Yeah,
I'm
pickled
good.
pig feet was
I
fire.
don't eat
No,
those.
When I
no,
used to
no.
eat
I'm not.
pork,
I'm not.
I'm just saying.
Do you eat oysters? Like the
What?
little.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
How you eat your
Yeah.
oysters though? Fresh
It
out
just
the
depends.
shell, lemon
I
on
eat them always.
them. Okay,
All of
Yeah.
them.
that's
I
that's
feel
an
like I
Well,
really,
that's an aphrodisiac.
like
So
I really eat a lot of different things, and I like it a lot.
hey,
well,
nothing
you all
wrong with no.
in your extensive palates. All right.
I mean, I'm just saying, Ken, it's okay, bro. Like, I'm gonna need you to go to the nearest grocery store and get you some
No, I mean I
chicharrones.
see.
Um,
I never try to force anyone. I will always say though, like try something once, but like if you don't like it, then that's not your thing. That's not your thing. But I will always tell someone though, don't say nothing about someone else that they like if you never tried it to know if you even don't like it. Because I got a friend like that. She'll be like, ugh, but have you
And they
tried
never
it?
tried it.
And
yeah,
then
no.
that's where I'll be like, hold on now, you don't even know you might love it. So just
Yeah.
but if you tried it like Kendon tried the chitlins and it's not
And
for him,
you
it's
done
not for him.
threw up all over the place.
Mhm.
Ken ain't tried it since he was like 8 years old.
I can't get past the smell. So I mean, people like you can take the membrane out and you can do
Now,
this. You
some
can.
people know how to cook it,
I
and the
don't
smell
care.
isn't there.
I don't
Yeah, there
The
is
care.
a way.
onion, you got to clean it right. You got to
I
come
don't
clean.
care. I don't want them.
And you would laugh at this message title though, because a preacher preached this once. You got to come clean like a chitlin.
That ain't very
Well,
clean. So
Hey,
no,
no,
if it's going to be considered clean, it goes through an extensive
sieve washer. Yeah,
well,
amount of
he,
I
water.
know people that can cook it and you don't even smell the doo doo. I'll just say that.
Oh,
yeah,
that was a nice
the
question.
fact that it's doo-doo canal, I'm good. I'm good on that. All right. So let's get back to these kids,
I was gonna say
y'all.
that was a nice
Let's
long
get back to these
Chitlin talk.
kids. All right.
See,
So
kids, look what we went through to be better for y'all. Now we don't have high
I,
yeah.
blood pressure like
I
our folks
appreciate
because
you,
we laid off
Chitlins.
the chitlins.
Yeah, so hopefully, kids, if y'all don't have to be eating chitlins, you know what I'm saying?
My
That's a
kids eat
struggle.
it.
That's a
Your
struggle
kids
with
eat
me.
chitlins?
Hmm.
See, she got some cool
But I
kids.
didn't force them to. I made it because I
They just
wanted
Yeah,
maybe
them,
to let them try
and
it.
they tried it.
they tried
And
and they liked it.
hmm
That's
Mhm.
what's up. All right.
See, she
So,
got some cool kids, so yeah.
I mean, well, I mean, because you eat chitlins don't make you cool. That just means that they tried it, they liked it, they have their own palate. You know, she let them develop their own sense of, you
yeah, I
know,
tried
their own
to.
sense of being,
Right.
Yeah,
right? So, all right. So, next up on my list is we got to compliment the kids on their good behaviors and habits,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're always so quick to point out things that they do wrong, but when they do things right, it's kind of like it's kind of like it's expected. It's expected
yeah,
behavior. You're expected to do good things. So, nobody really says anything about them unless they're like, extremely good things or extremely, you know, something extreme. But if it's just something basic, like they got up and they cleaned their room on their own without you having to tell them, like you should recognize that. Oh wow,
yeah,
your room looks amazing today. I really appreciate you doing that. Like just saying those small things,
All things, right.
those kids will receive that and say, you know what, I'm going to get up. I want to do this every day because I love the way that that felt for my mom, for my dad to tell me that they appreciated me. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to do it. Right. They come in, they wash the dishes without being told. And you say, man, I appreciate you washing those dishes for me. That's what's up. Like when
When
they
you get
hear
that
that, they're
those
like,
things.
yeah, they won't. Well, you don't want to mention anything like that, but you just
Right,
want
right.
to make sure that you know what I'm saying you're telling them that you appreciate them for the good things that they do instead of them just hearing from you every time they do something bad.
That
yeah,
validation, right?
Yeah.
Kind of giving them that I see my thing always was high fives. So if
Yeah.
you did something solid, you know what I'm saying, high five. You know what I'm saying. The baby
Yeah.
girl brought me her
you did not
award
high
thing, and I
five
was like,
me.
"I wow," you know what I'm saying. Give me the high five.
As a kid, I don't want no high five. You better tell me.
You don't want no high five?
I like how you lined your shoes up in the closet properly and hung all your clothes up and made your
Oh,
bed so crispy. And I'm be like,
oh.
okay, you see me? But if you be like high five, and be like, what we doing this for? But you know, I mean, I feel you over there.
I
I'm just
mean,
saying, for me,
listen, I understand that you need some extra
I'm
validation.
affirmation, so I need more.
I
Don't you high
understand.
five me?
I
But
got I got
but see, but that's why love
two that are
language
just
matters.
like that.
That's why, and I bet you that high five, you better start saying something extra with it.
See, the difference is like, for example, high five, and then after that, I'm showing up. So I'm gonna make the effort. Hey, can you make it? Yeah, I'm gonna tell Angel to work the shop, yada yada yada, and I'm gonna be there at your thing. As soon as you're done, I'm gonna take off and I'm gonna leave.
First of
So
all, you was
like,
gonna be there anyway.
huh?
You was gonna be there anyway.
I know, but what I'm saying
No.
is that you that validation of, because when when kids ask, they don't know if you can make it or not.
Oh, you mean she asked you? Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
can
Yeah.
you make
Oh,
it?
I'm
Can
at
you show
everything.
up? And I'm like, yeah, give me first high five for the little joint. You know what I'm saying? Solid. You know what I'm saying? Then I might take her and get her a spoonful of ice cream or something like that, and that's it.
But say
He
you
said
came
a
in the house,
spoonful.
a spoonful, right? Say you came in the house though, and they had the living room, kitchen just bleached down. You smell the pine saw when you open the door. You high five
Oh,
them,
you,
and what else?
I'm about to take you to get the Mahara. Because see, the baby girl loves the Mahara. So, you know what the Mahara is, King?
You know
No.
that do you not know that your love language, one of them is gifts, and it says high, but you give gifts to people as if it's theirs,
Of course.
but it's not.
I mean, but if she if she
You're like,
like,
oh, I'm buying them something. Everybody get a toy.
so, but no, she loves the Mahara, and I didn't know.
Okay, what is a mahara now?
It's the fried fish, the whole
See?
fish.
How old is the child, Alexis?
12.
Oh,
The
okay.
whole fish with just the slices in the middle. Got like
Yeah,
5
no, I know what it
strips
is
down
now.
the middle,
I didn't know the
right?
name.
And you just eat it with your hands with a tortilla or whatever. Ken got that. Ken
I
got
don't
that
think
look on his face.
so. I've had it, but I didn't eat it with a tortilla. Like I had other stuff. I ate it a different
Oh,
way.
you put the pico de gallo on top and the salsa, and then
No,
you eat it like
well, maybe
Jesus.
because I'm not a big, unless I have like burritos or a taco or something. I don't really care to have tortillas and stuff.
Oprah Benji.
Yeah, you get a gift. You get a
Right.
gift. You get a gift.
I
You
mean,
that?
but you get what I'm saying? Like that would be something, I would do because I'm, although I like the quality
So they don't hear from you. Thank you for cleaning the way
Oh
that y'all do.
no. They definitely hear that because it's in
Oh,
the high five.
no, they didn't hear it.
You have to articulate it, sir.
Lord
Wow, good
Jesus.
job.
Please, I'm
Good
praying that
job, girl.
Benji is hearing what I'm saying.
Like, wow, good job,
Oh
girl. I'm
Lord.
proud
Oh
of
my
you.
God.
So
Do you
yeah,
have it? Okay, so is any of your kids affirmation? I just want to know.
do I know any of theirs?
No, well, yes, but is any of one of their affirmations?
Yes, my wife is that way, and the youngest baby is that way.
So, how old is the youngest?
12.
Oh, and
She
you
needs
just
to be affirmed in everything.
well, yeah. So, how are you doing that with high fives
Well, so with her it's like
and maharas? How are
it's
you doing
like
that?
a homeboy type relationship that we have. You get what I'm saying? Like homeboy, homegirl. So like because she likes the specific things, like she's picky about what she eats, right? So she knows I cook all of that, right? So she loves ice cream. So
That spoon, that spoon of ice cream. Yeah.
a spoonful. You only get a spoonful. But then the catch with that is this though. She will overindulge.
On the ice cream, or
Right.
the affirmations
Just sugar, period.
that you're not giving.
Just sugar, period. Right. So although I want to celebrate, in that way with you, I do know that, a little reservation, there as well.
I don't even
But
think she cares about any of that.
she probably don't.
I think you should add on just a couple of words, and I bet you she'd be like, look
Yeah,
at my dad.
I
He's so
beat her
good.
up. I suplex her.
Oh, okay.
I body slam.
What the hell? Just get her to Mahada. I'm over it. Just get her.
Yeah.
I'm over it. I'm over it.
He's beating me up.
This guy.
Mommy! Dude.
He's reliving it.
Well, that's part of that's part of showing them that you love them unconditional, and that's on my list.
Right.
Just showing them different ways you love them, but show them that the love doesn't come with something that they have to do to get it,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
That you just love them because they're your children, because
Right.
because of who they are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us, in our childhoods went through points maybe where we felt like, our parents only gave us accolades when we did something. It couldn't just be me being me. It had to be me being
Yeah.
extraordinary, right?
Right.
It couldn't be me just having a good game today, but I scored 3 touchdowns. So now I'm on another level. But if I
Yeah.
just, if I just ran the ball well, didn't score a touchdown, but I played well, you know what I'm saying? Like, still show me that love. I'm still
Yeah.
looking
Right.
for that validation and that
Give me that
love.
good game still,
Yeah,
you know?
when I'm not extraordinary, when I'm regular, I still need that validation and that I still need to know that you love me regardless.
Yeah.
So,
I
and I
think
think
that's
that's
important. I do.
yeah, it's
I think
super
it's
important.
important,
It's
especially
very
for the people
important.
that are around you. They need to feel that. And sometimes me, I could get like I can get stuck in just the order or the directive sometimes, or like that's the cross of now having to branch over from how I raised mine to now having two younger girls, teenage girls, right? Although I raised my daughter, she was raised around boys.
Yeah.
So to have girls were raised around predominantly women, it's a totally different sensitivity space there. So you do have to kind of, ease off the, being so firm all the time. So
Yeah.
it
Oh my
happens.
gosh. Yeah, that's true. Cause I like I said, I'm my daddy's son. He was strict. So I'm
Mhm.
not as like emotional with things. But then there's my son, he's raised, which is crazy. He's raised by a woman. So he's a little bit more emotional. So I had to catch myself because I'd be like, the hell's wrong with you?
Right.
But but in my head, I'll be like, God damn. But I'm
Well,
like, okay, he's raised by a woman. So I'm
right.
trying, I give him that. But I like that little touch you put on him though.
Yeah, you got to do that. But the amazing thing though is that even as parents, especially these new age kids, like well, I'm calling them new age. I guess whatever you want to call it. What are they? Gen Z, Ken? What?
I don't know, but you
I
got it
can't tell
right.
you, I lost track.
They're definitely new age. They're
It's
That
definitely
new age, right?
they're
these
new
damn
age.
kids. That's what we're gonna call
Yeah.
it. These
Because
damn kids.
they have to process. I think they have to process way faster than we had to
They do.
process.
They have to process faster and in front of a larger audience because it's
That
social
yeah.
media. It's
Right.
all that stuff that
They have to
happens.
intake more information than we did, right?
Oh
When
yeah,
Right.
we observed things, we had time to ride in the car and just look at buildings and just look at
Right.
cars passing by.
yeah,
Like, these kids don't even have a sense of that, right? So
Right.
when they start
Everything is
driving,
there for them that they have to
well,
see and visualize.
everything is in front of them, right? Like,
right.
I mean literally, like their phone, the tablet, things like that. Like, they focus in on that. And one thing that's on my list next up is setting limits and be consistent with discipline,
Mhm.
which setting
Right.
limits on like your phone use, tablet use, and things of that nature. Because my parents had a limit, right? And that's one thing that I have been lax on at points, and I think I really should have been more consistent with that.
Yeah.
Is time that you're watching TV. Don't just allow you to sit and watch TV for hours on hours on hours
Right.
because
Right.
you don't have something else to do. Like, we didn't do that. We watched TV a little bit for a
Who's
couple of
outside?
hours. We was outside, and if we weren't outside or watching TV, we
We
were
was at
playing a
home
video
grind.
game. Well, that was later, but we, you know, we were playing video games and things like that as kids. So we just weren't sitting in front of,
Yeah.
Right.
the
Latchkey
compute.
is the right term. Latchkey kid. What do they
Well,
call it?
well, latchkey kids are kids who, like a lot of us were, especially on our street, where a lot of our parents and stuff wasn't home, and they just gave us a key.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when we got off the bus, we walked home. We came home to an empty house. It was just us or us and our siblings, no
Right.
parents, and my parents had rules. Don't open that door for nobody. Once you come in this house, don't you go back out. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And those, we had rules, we had guidelines, and we had limits.
Mm-hmm.
So if your mom saw you playing the game too long, hey, turn that game off. Go find something
Right.
else to do. Go get you a book. Go do something else. Relax.
And you better not
And
say you tripping or you're gonna get your head hit up against the window.
yeah, but these kids don't have that, because a lot of the parents, to be quite honest with you, they just happy the kids is not bugging them. So they like, if they on their tablet for 8 hours on TikTok, hey, let them have at it. They
Let them
ain't
have
bothering
at it.
me.
They are letting the tablets and electronics raise their kids. And it's just because it's brought them some peace. Like a lot of, I've heard, or even on the radio, I heard on my drive, they were debating because this couple let their kid play on the tablet while they were at family dinner out to eat. And the guy was okay with it, but the wife was mad. Like, make him turn that off, make him participate and be present at the table. And he was like, no, he's quiet. We ain't got to deal with him. But it's like, where's the family, like,
Yeah,
aspect,
camaraderie, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta
But
limit
you,
that stuff.
But you know what, you gotta lead by example too. And I had to realize that too, because having kids that are older now and everybody's got phones and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Oh
And
yeah.
I would be at the table too with my phone at the table,
Right.
sitting at the restaurant. And I had to get to the point where I came in, I looked at it, and then when we started ordering, I would put my phone down.
Yep, same. That phone goes down, and not down on the table, it goes away. Like,
Yeah. And just because you flip your phone over, people, don't mean you cheating. I
Right.
flip my phone over.
yeah.
I flip my phone. I flip my phone over, so because if you have it face up, you're going to be tempted to look at the little notifications popping up, and that
Yeah, I do
becomes a
that at work.
tempting thing to check it when you see certain ones pop up. You're like, oh, I got to check this. But you just turn
Hmm.
it face down. If somebody's calling you, then that's a different. You pick it up and answer it if you want to.
Yeah.
But if the little notifications, Facebook notifications, somebody put a comment on a post, I don't need to mess with that
Yeah.
while I'm at the table having dinner with my
Yeah,
family.
they're
That's
not that important. Right.
well,
Right.
that should be a sacred time. And a lot of
I
times,
agree.
quite honestly, as a kid, my mom used to use dinner time as a way to find out what's going on in
What's
our
going
world.
on?
It's
Yes.
called family
Like,
dinner. Was always the thing. The end
Yes.
of the
yeah,
night, talk
how
about things,
how
whatever.
was your day? What did
And
you
I
do
get to read
today?
you too as
Yeah,
well to know
exactly,
what's going on with you
Hmm.
because
exactly.
you've been gone all day at school. And if you haven't coached your kids how to articulate or talk, you don't really they're not gonna pull up on you and say, hey, so and so happened, they did this, they did that. So you get to sit down at the table and really just kind of fill them out, see what they went through that day.
I
So
gotta draw limits there though too.
in what way?
Cause let me tell you, because I love that my kids actually do. They do come to me to tell me everything, whatever's going
Right,
on, whatever the case may
right.
be. With my daughter, the school be having just they old little, just the other random kid drama. So it's like gossip time. So I be trying to hear it.
Right.
I be like, okay, girl.
He's like,
We
okay.
still going, and mom, and let me tell you about Jessica, and then this girl, and let me tell you, and then because this boy, we don't even know him, and I'm like, and I
Gotta be
try to like,
chill.
so
Gotta be
I'm
chill
tuned
on the
in.
gossip, huh?
I'm tuned in. I'm like, okay, does this got anything to do with my daughter? No. Okay. All right, okay.
Right.
No, but I still listen because I want to still know what she's exposed to, what type of people, who she's interacting with. But I'd be like, damn, 30, 45. We still
I mean,
like, I'm like, okay,
at
girl,
least
hold on real quick. I gotta make a quick phone call. Let me I'll be right back.
you gotta make an excuse, right? But at least you know that your baby can articulate her feelings.
Oh yeah, I love that they will come to tell me. Even my son at his big age, he'll still
Right.
come tell me like, "Mom, like, let me tell you about this situation." Like, and I'll
Right.
be like, "Okay, tell me what's up."
Because
So
to
I
me
love it.
that's dope. Because to
Yeah,
me
it
that's
is.
dope to be able to know that your kids are expressive, that they can talk. Because you'd be surprised, man. Some kids are so bottled up, they don't talk about nothing. And I know because I was that kid
Yeah,
before.
well, my son actually, he's been through therapy, so
Uh-huh.
that might contribute to it too. Because as he got to a certain part of his teenage, especially being without a father, I wanted to make sure that he could still express his feelings and emotions, and figure out how to deal with them. And
Right.
so, I mean, that might have helped because we definitely be talking. So
But now you're
No,
talking. I
hold
think
on, but
that's
I
you
think
though, and your
hold on,
family structure though.
we gotta make sure that we piggyback off of what she just said and
Hmm.
reiterate that therapy for your kids is
Hmm.
not a bad thing,
mhm.
people. You
Right.
don't wait
No.
until something goes crazy or something goes bad or something gets catastrophic. If
Mm-hmm.
you feel like they need therapy, it's okay to reach
Do
out to a therapist or a counselor to get them to talk to them, because it's gonna be much more healthy for them mentally, especially as they get older, to be able to articulate, to be able to talk. So
it.
at least they're talking to somebody. So if they're not talking to you yet, the more they talk to that therapist, the more they talk to that counselor, the more they open up, they'll learn how to open up to you as well. So it works in that manner.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, what made me do it, it was more or less like, okay, grades not too. He don't really care too much about school. He don't really say too much. I didn't know if there was issue or not, or if it was because of his dad, or if what, I don't know what it might be, but I wasn't gonna wait for, like you said, something to just be like, bam, he needs to be in therapy. Like, so I'm like, let me just get him somebody to talk to. Maybe it can very much be he doesn't know how to talk to me,
Yeah.
or might have some bottled up feelings about me based off of not being with his dad or whatever. So let me find him somebody that outside that he can talk to and go from there. So yeah, don't wait for there to be a problem. Like, therapy doesn't mean that there's an actual problem. You
Yeah.
preventing it.
I dig it. I dig
Yeah,
it.
and one thing I learned from a therapist, one of my friends, that an activity that I can give, especially parents of younger kids, but you can do this with anybody. Ask your child to draw a picture of themselves, and then
Mm,
ask them to draw a picture of you. When
Mhm.
you do that,
mm.
whatever the picture looks like, that tells you what they think about you.
I
That
like
tells you
that.
how they view you. That tells you how they view themselves. If you get a child, tell them to draw a picture of themselves and they draw themselves as a superhero, that's it. 9 times out of 10, that's a good thing, because they
That's
they think
right.
highly of themselves, right? If
Yeah.
they draw you as a superhero, that means if dad, they think you're a superhero. That means you're a great role model for them. You're doing some things right. So I mean, there's little tricks and stuff that you can learn along the way that can help you. Like Trish Michelle said, tap into how that child is feeling,
Right.
because a lot of times they can't articulate to you, or they don't want to
Right.
articulate to you because quiet is kept. A lot of children don't talk to their parents because they don't want to let you down.
That
They
That's
is
don't
very
want,
true.
very true.
That
yeah,
element is part of it.
yeah,
I
they
would
don't want to
agree.
let you down.
I would
Like,
agree.
like they can let down a therapist because they know that, I'm talking to her or him, but nah, they don't matter as much as mom or dad. But
Right.
mom or dad might look at me differently if I tell them that I'm not I'm not mentally well, or I'm feeling sad all the time, or I'm depressed.
Yeah.
They feel like you're going to look at them as less than, and you're going to be let down by them telling you something like that, so they won't tell you.
Right.
Yeah. That's
I
true.
agree. I agree. Because I know I don't think I thought about it that way until I realized when my daughter started to actually communicate with me, when we kind of came back into the whole grandbaby,
Yeah.
space, right? So yeah, that's dope though, because them understanding they didn't want to let me down and stuff is something she mentioned. So
Yeah, shout out to Corey Small. He said, "What if they draw pictures of you as a monster, like Tales from the Hood?"
Why? So
Oh,
wait, Corey is thinking how I was thinking, because I really was like, but what if they draw you like something
oh,
crazy?
that's a
Like,
that's you should be concerned
you should be
if your
concerned, right?
if
me
your
and Corey
child
on the
draws
same
a
page, and I
yeah.
really was sitting over
If
here
you
like
tell
in
your
my head.
child to draw a picture of you and they draw a picture of a monster with teeth and blood hanging off, like, you should be concerned, first of all, with your child and how they view you, but maybe there's some things there's some things
Like, hold on.
hey,
Like, what
like,
you
hold
been
on.
doing at the
I'm trying to
crib?
ask her right now. You ever drew me?
But I'm
I need to
telling
know.
you, straight up,
I'm gonna
if you
ask. I'm gonna ask that tonight.
if you was beating the kids, like we used to get whooping sometimes. Like I probably would draw my mom and dad as some monsters after I got whoopings. So you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. Like, so but that's a good point. That's a good point, man. Like,
Dang.
if they draw you as a monster, you have to be willing to accept that. You can't get upset with them. Like, if they draw you as a superhero, accept it. If they draw you as a monster, hey, then you can ask them to explain this picture. Explain it. Why'd you draw
Now
daddy as a monster? Why'd you draw mommy as a monster? Like that'll
you
enable
gotta
the conversation even
right.
more,
It
right?
will. It
I
does.
agree. Parents, you gotta be able to accept your kid's view
You do.
because they
Yeah.
see you every day. Some
Yeah.
of the time, or whatever it is, they see you every day. So
Everything they saying ain't lies.
It's
that is a fact.
protection at the end of
Everything
the
they say,
day.
yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you want them to feel like it is an open communication or their feelings matter, how they view you or what they think about you, it's something that if you care about like you while you're trying to have this relationship with your child, that you would want to know. So if they came to you and say, well, I feel like this or I feel like you're that, don't get offended and tell them they're being disrespectful. If they're
Right.
trying to tell you how they feel about you, that's an area of
Yeah.
opportunity to do what Ken said, ask why. Or why, what do I do that makes you feel this way? I think that's very important.
Now, what if
Yeah.
what if you ugly though?
What does that got to do with
Well,
communicating?
we ask that
What if
all the
they give
time.
you what if they give you a picture of you being, they say you
I
ugly?
Oh,
don't
well,
think that a child knows their parent is ugly. I don't think that.
well, I
I
think
think
they
they
do.
I think they
I
figure
don't
it out.
know.
I think they
Patricia be
figure hold
going to
on.
school and them
I
kids know.
I think they figure it out. No. I think they figure it out as they get older. They know when somebody else's parent is ugly, but I'm talking about your own child doesn't know if their parent is ugly. Now they know if their parent is beautiful because they know everybody is talking about Trisha Michelle when she comes into school. So her son knows my mom looks good because all the dudes talk about her when she comes to school. So that's one thing. But
Mhm.
if your mom comes to school and everybody's quiet, you kind of you kind of try to figure out like what
Maybe
that
she just
means.
looks like a mom. She ain't gotta be ugly.
That
She just
too. That
I
too.
mean, hey, well, remember we're talking about the kids and their feelings. We don't know what's going on in their head until they
I
put it
want to,
down.
I want to take some kids away from the, do you think your mama ugly?
Hey,
Don't
That's a
worry.
that's a
that'd
good
be a good
question
I
though.
street
want
topic.
someone to make a YouTube video and ask their kids, do
That'd
you?
be a good street topic. I'm
That's
telling
a
you,
good
walk
yeah.
around.
That's a good
I would
question
bust
though.
up.
That's a good
Is
question.
your hey? What do you think? Do you think your mom is ugly? Like,
Is
Yeah,
your daddy
anybody
you
ugly?
think your
anybody
papa ugly?
anybody in the audience, do you think that your mom is ugly? You can talk to us. It's a
Let
safe
us
space.
know. I want to know.
You can talk to us. It's a safe space. Okay.
This is a
So
safe space. We might tag your mama.
And your
see,
pop,
I ain't say
I'm
your
just,
all
pop
that. See,
still
I'm
I
just
ain't
going
kidding.
say
on.
I'm
all
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
that. It's
I'm
a
gonna
safe space.
send it to him. Be like, look here, man.
Look at the clip.
This is how your kid feel about you, dog. Like,
Look
I
at the
just want
clip.
you to know.
Just, mama, look at this clip. And you be like,
Look, right.
what?
It's like,
All
dang,
right.
that's cold
So,
though.
but see, this is also one thing that we kind of touched on throughout the thing, throughout the show as well, is being flexible and willing to adapt your parenting style to the situations and for each child.
Yeah.
I think that's
Oh,
important to
yeah.
point out too,
Right,
because often growing up with me being the only boy, my
right.
parents would parent me a different way, my sisters being the girls.
Mm-hmm.
So my sisters would have a problem with that. They would
Uh-huh.
be like, "Why you let him do that? Why he gets to do that? And why does he
Mm-hmm.
get this? And why we don't get that?" Each child is different.
Oh, the
Each child,
favorite.
well,
No.
each child is
Would you
different,
consider
and
yourself the favorite? Like you were looked at because you're the baby of the family, right, Ken?
yes,
Right. Yes. That
yes,
Oh, yeah. You got
it's
that little
okay.
spoiled
It's okay
treatment.
being Joseph. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying?
well,
That
I
hate
was
was
the
thick.
baby, the only boy.
Mm-mm.
So, but my parents had to parent me differently because I'm a boy, right?
Right.
So it's certain things that my sisters couldn't do or they could do that I couldn't do, and vice versa. So, I think again, as we talked about earlier, the communication piece becomes important again
Right.
because you have to be able to articulate this is why I'm doing this differently with you than with your sister or than with your brother because of this reason here.
Right. Now, the economics comes into play in that too, because when they probably had your siblings, your older siblings, they probably weren't as financially stable as they were when they had you. So there's a lot of factors that can go into that. But they see you getting all the stuff. Well, mama and daddy got the good job now. So yeah, we could splurge a little bit and buy Ken some 18s, some Jordans. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, I mean, we talked about that a little bit earlier at the beginning of the show, where it's funny because when you become a parent early, you have the energy but you don't have the resources. And then when you become a parent later in life, you have the resources, but you might not have the energy.
All the
So
energy.
it's a flip flop. But like you're saying, I mean, it's gonna be different at different aspects in your life. And again, you may have to point that out to the kid. Don't look down on being able to having to articulate that to a child because you feel like, well, I shouldn't have to tell them nothing. Yes, you do. If you want them to understand life and you want them to understand who you are and what your goals are, and you know, for the household, for them, talk to them as they get older. Those conversations get easier. The lines of communication become clearer and become more fluid. And before you know it, that child is an adult and they're able to come to you and talk to you and have these conversations that, you know, you often longed for when they were little, but now they become a parent and hopefully they take on some of those same characteristics and they become a great parent. You know what I'm saying? They just keep getting better and better.
Right. And I totally agree with that.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, I dealt with it with my son in a different aspect. For him, with my daughter, him being just a single parent, single mom being raised, and then my daughter having both parents in her life, and even when her dad's not around, still being a very active parent. For him, he thought she was getting favoritism or treated different, special treatment. And then also back then, like I said, I kind of started off with the you getting spankings, you getting a little bit, but then I moving away from that. So she came when I don't even do it at all. And you had a couple. So he's like, you don't even discipline her like you did me. And you don't even
and they notice it too, for real.
They do. So he took it as favoritism when I had to actually finally explain it to him. Like, let me break it down for you. Like, you know, this is the difference between you and her with the parents that you actually have. And then the difference in, like, I don't do that now. So yes, you had that. I can't make that go away, but you know, you don't have it at all either. So you just kind of got to see that there was growth. You grew with me is what, you know, happened.
My middle son has never gotten a whooping. My youngest son, I say my middle son. My youngest son has never gotten a whooping. He's the model citizen kid. Never gotten in trouble. Always does what he's supposed to do. Gets what he wants because there's nothing like there to criticize at all.
They like that, it's different too, because that's her. Like, I used to have to run behind you, like, what you doing? Her, I ain't gotta do that.
I don't have to do that with him. Like he saw y'all getting all the whoopings, and he learned, like, I ain't doing that.
He was like,
yeah,
I'm good.
Right. Yeah, I don't want them whoopings. No, I'm good. How much? What's the homework? What we doing?
Oh, yeah, right. Right. You want me to do it right now? Right now? Okay, cool. Got it. Say less.
The dishes? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And sometimes you have to explain it to them too, again, with the communication, because I had to explain to my older son that he grew up with me. And we had that conversation, right? It was a tough conversation because it forced me to have to, you know, look at myself in a different light when I was younger, and, you know, the things that I wasn't doing so well at, right? The things that I missed out on as a young parent because I just didn't know. And I learned with my, you know, with my younger son and then with my daughter, right? And that's one of those, that's when parenting is not easy, right? When you have to look at what you did wrong. And I had to tell my son, look, when I had you, I was 20, mom was 18. We didn't know. We were still kids ourselves. So you grew up with me. As I grew up and I matured, I learned how to, you know, be a parent to you along the way. So there are some things that I missed and that I can't go back and change. But with your brother, with your sister, I can change those things because now I know. And, you know, like they say, if you know better, you do better. So that's the whole mantra. Like, I knew, you know, how to do it afterward. So with the kids that come after that, I'm gonna make those changes. So that's why you see them get different treatment or different things for them, because now I know that that's necessary. And before I just didn't, so I missed out on it. And you know, it's okay to apologize to your kids too. It's okay to say, hey, you know what? I was wrong. I was out of line. I just didn't know. It's okay to tell them, hey, dad just didn't know. Right.
I had to have that conversation with my daughter because she asked me a hard question, and I wouldn't put it on the air, but she asked me a hard question about her mom.
Yeah.
And I just had to be like super honest, and just because she had never heard it this way. And I was like, yeah, I had to apologize to you, baby, because the space I was in at that time and being in that space, like, she didn't fit. Like, it was tough. It's like, and those conversations are hard, but you got to have them. Yeah. And you just got to keep it. And in that space, though, when that truth starts to come out, because a lot of stuff just wasn't explained, or you just kind of overlooked it and just didn't really deal with it. You just kind of tried to play damage control with a lot of stuff. When those truths come out, you got to be ready for those too, because I mean, everybody ain't, as we like to see them all the time. So you gotta be honest about it.
Yeah, and that's reiterating therapy right back around, because as parents, we still have our traumas that we dealt with that we bring in with us as we're trying to parent, and we may not even know or uncover how we might have anxiety and all this other stuff that's causing us to even lash out or treat our kids the way that we don't know. So don't shy away from therapy for the better person that creates a better parent for your kids.
I agree.
Boom.
I like that.
There it is. I think Trish Michelle just told you all what it really boils down to. There's things that you have to reflect on as you, mom, dad, as you know what I'm saying, me, Ken, Benji, Trish Michelle. Like, we have to look at ourselves as individuals and know there are things that we have shortcomings. It's things that we didn't do right. And we have to be honest with ourselves, and then we can go forth and be honest with our children. And therefore we can open up those channels of communication, because at the end of the day, you want your child to be able to talk to you and articulate their feelings and things that's going on in their life. Because what you don't want them to do is be 30 or 40 years old and then come to you and spill out their guts about stuff that happened to them when they were in their teens and a little kid. And you're like, now you tell me, and there's nothing I can do about it.
About it now. Right. 20 years later.
Yeah. You don't want that. So, you just want to be able to communicate with them. And a lot of the things we talked about tonight will help you do that. We'll help you be able to do that. So, especially, like I said, with people who have little kids, use this information. And, because you're raising somebody's husband, you're raising somebody's wife, you're raising the next president, you're raising the next doctor, lawyer, you're raising, what I'm saying, the next genius. You're raising greatness. So, continue to pour into them, continue to, be honest with them, and continue to have those lines of communication. As we reiterate all the time, learn your child's love language. Let them take the test, talk to them, figure it out, because I'm telling you, it's going to change a lot dramatically in your relationship and in your interactions with your children. Facts.
For sure.
I mean, gotta do it.
Facts. So before we get up out of here, we're going to let Trisha Michelle go first. Talk to the people. Tell them something and tell them where to find you on social media.
I mean, I'm just going to go back into reiterating therapy. I went just to go because, what pushed it for me is when Jay-Z went just to go, and then he found out a lot of things about himself that he didn't even know. So it was something for me like, you know what? Let me go to therapy. And so it ended up helping me with things I didn't know I needed help with, or how to manage things. And then you end up becoming a better person for yourself and everybody else you interact with. So I think self-improvement is a big thing that you should always strive for. No matter how old you are, we can always be better and do better. So just always strive for that. Where you can find me at Trisha Michelle _TM, literally everywhere. Because it's just Trisha Michelle until I can get rid of it. Because this whole got my. I'm just kidding. I'm trying. I'm literally. I keep checking. I'm waiting for her to change hers, because hers is Trisha Michelle, and she ain't Trisha Michelle, and I need my name. So if anybody out there, you could let me know when she lets go, because I need it, because it ain't her. Okay.
Did you reach out to her? Did you send her a DM and say, "Hey"?
I did. I said, "You ain't even
get that up off of you."
The account don't even have no photos, no nothing. Like, you're nothing. Sorry.
Oh, she's a
But-
ghost.
Well, she's a peep
So,
artist. Huh?
why do you have this name? Like, get up off
Peep
my
artist.
name.
She peeping.
Get up
She
off my
peeping on
name.
somebody.
So yeah,
man.
y'all tell her to get up off my name.
I mean, if you
All right.
add the P, you'd be all right, Patricia. I mean, maybe.
No, but I don't want to.
Okay, there you go. I mean,
Told
they
you
just gotta
so.
wait it out.
My mama called me Trish.
As the
I
old
mean,
folks,
mom can call you whatever she want to call you. That's your baby. You said you're a baby, so.
as we say back in the old school, crunched your cookie. Crunched your cookie. All right,
Right.
Benji Banks, the man, the brand. Talk to the people, my guy.
Man, listen. Well, we go. Just be truthful with your kids, man. Like, be honest with them, because as they get more older and older and older, they're going to have questions. And if you trying to figure it all out yourself and you're not really communicating, the moments are going to come when the kids are going to ask you like the hard questions. So I made it a habit with mine. Always be truthful to my kids. I never tell your kids a lie. It's 100% honest. You may not understand it right now, but when you get older, I promise you, you'll understand it in the by and by, as old folks used to say. So just be solid with them, man. Like I always wanted my kids to know that their daddy was solid no matter what. And so I've always stood on that. So now they look up to me and always have. And so I'm appreciative of that because I gave them something to look up to. So I appreciate that. Give your kids something to look up to, man. Be solid with them. Y'all know where to find me.
Facts.
I mean, BRB 4701. We're at the beauty shop every day, beauty supply store every day. We're growing that thing to where we need it to grow. So just continue to follow your boy on social media. Benji Banks, you can't miss me. I mean, you could, but you shouldn't. Because I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. I'm just kidding.
All right, y'all already know where to find your boy. Big Ken's Comedy on IG, Big Ken's Comedy on Twitter, Big Ken's Comedy on Facebook. Y'all can catch the Fiyah Session on all social media platforms. Just type in FIYA8 Session and we'll pop right up. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button while you're out there on YouTube, so you can get every episode and you won't miss anything. My closing thought today is, something I say all the time: parenting never stops, right? As long as you're alive and you got kids, you got a job to do. So make sure you lead them with love and logic so they can understand and leave those lines of communication open. Y'all already know how we do it. It's the Fiyah Session. Tune in next week. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Same
channel. You know what I'm saying? Get some of this knowledge, get some of this entertainment, and talk to us because we talk back. We appreciate y'all. Love
and
y'all.
We got big foreheads.
Y'all have
at least
a good
one
week.
of the persons on the show does.
All right, y'all.
Well, he got big forehead. I got an infinite forehead because I got bald head. All right.
The baby says I got a long forehead. So
well, she is correct. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Y'all take it easy. Have a good week.
Forehead.
Thank you for joining us today. Please follow us on all social media platforms. Just search Fiyah Session.